joint you'll just amore. Tonight on Channel 4 News at 6, working for you.
There's a grim new snapshot tonight of the cycle of violence in Iraq, the deadliest month ever with American troops caught in the middle. The annual American Getaway is underway tonight. Millions of Thanksgiving travelers and a nasty storm is causing problems. Our series, What Works? Tonight, what may be the toughest city in the nation on drunk drivers. And from Lebanon to Utah, an emotional rescue for pets caught in the crossfire.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. Tomorrow will be the fourth Thanksgiving in harm's way for our troops in uniform in Iraq in this post-9/11 era. And tonight, as American families get together for the annual gathering in households across this country, there are new numbers out. The United Nations has reported today 3,709 Iraqi civilians were killed last month. That makes October the deadliest month of the war. Over 100 were killed just today. It confirms what we already knew had been happening on the ground there in Iraq. The very same grim picture that may now force a change in U.S. policy. And so we begin on this Thanksgiving Eve with NBC's Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon for us tonight. Jim, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Civilians pay a heavy price in any war. But today, 3.5 years after the U.S. invasion, the death toll for Iraqis is on the rise. In its most sobering assessment yet, the UN report says even for war-torn Iraq, today's level of violence is alarming. The UN report claims the number of Iraqi civilians killed in October amounted to more than 3,700. That's almost 120 civilians killed per day, and the highest number of civilians killed since the start of the war.
There is no place on earth where as many civilians are killed by blunt violence as in Iraq.
The report blames sectarian violence for most of the civilian deaths, and most were killed in Baghdad. The UN report also revealed an increasing number of attacks against Iraqi professionals, doctors, lawyers, and journalists. 300 teachers have already been killed so far this year. The report adds an increasing number of women are also being targeted by religious extremists. Experts fear the entire Iraqi society is headed for total collapse.
We are on the verge of genocide in Iraq, and that's going to affect everyone, regardless of gender, regardless of professional status, regardless of ethnicity.
The unrelenting violence has also put many Iraqis on the run. The UN report says more than 430,000 Iraqi civilians have been forced to flee their homes this year alone, and nearly 100,000 are now fleeing the country each month. So many, the government ordered the passport office in Baghdad to remain open 7 days a week to handle the demand.
The deteriorating situation in the country, coupled with increasing poverty, has generated unparalleled movements of population in search of safety.
And a reminder today, the war is also taking a toll on the U.S. military. Marine Corps Commandant General James Conway warned the war in Iraq may have stretched the Marines to their limit. General Conway suggested that if there's no let-up in the Iraq war anytime soon, the Marine Corps is just going to have to get bigger to stay in the fight, or to meet its other missions worldwide. Brian?
Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon for us tonight. Jim, thank you for that. Former President George H.W. Bush was forced into an emotional defense of his son, the current president, during an appearance in the Persian Gulf yesterday. President Bush, 41, was appearing in the United Arab Emirates after a speech that praised his family, which, after all, includes the current president and the governor of Florida. He was said to be stunned by the tenor of the questions. One student said the current President Bush was not respected overseas, to which his father responded, quote, "It takes a lot of guts to tell a father what you said about his son when I just told you that the thing that matters to my heart is my family." Witnesses said his voice was quivering as he went on to call his son an honest man who is working for peace. Today, the current President Bush was trying to contain the damage from yesterday's assassination of a top official in Lebanon, an outspoken opponent of Syrian influence who was gunned down in his car. Mourners were paying their respects today to Pierre Gemayel and planning a massive protest at his funeral tomorrow. Meantime, President Bush called the Lebanese prime minister to say America remains committed to democracy there, accusing Iran and Syria of trying to undermine Lebanon's fragile government. Now to the story tonight that millions of Americans are experiencing right now as we speak, the Thanksgiving getaway by train, plane, and automobile. We thought we'd take a slightly different angle on this tonight. Here is a look at this evening's air traffic. Each of the red icons a different commercial flight, and getting around may be complicated this evening by that storm moving up the East Coast that could slow things down before this night is over. NBC News correspondent Tom Costello is with us now from the FAA's National Command Center just outside Washington, D.C. Tom, good evening.
And Brian, good evening to you. At this very moment, 6,500 planes in the skies over North America. And what is front and center at this nerve center here in Herndon, Virginia, is this green map right there. That is that extreme weather pattern right now sitting over the population centers of the East Coast.
On 92. Demand doesn't indicate.
It's been the dominant issue all day at the FAA's command center.
Tactically on the board at this time, we now have Newark and LaGuardia programs out in addition to the Philly program for the New York area.
Delays in the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, and Washington as a nasty storm brought with it wind and low ceilings.
Atlanta, we had Charlotte ground stops possible.
Forrest Terrell's job to keep it all running smoothly. 575 airports, 2.5 million passengers, and 60,000 flights.
We're getting reports now of extreme turbulence in the northeast part of the airspace, 38,000 down to 35,000 now.
All right, define extreme for me. Is that moderate or severe?
Meanwhile, a different kind of turbulence in the nation's airports as the infrequent travelers mixed with the pros.
If everyone gets to the gate on time, the system will work just fine.
Navigating through TSA checkpoints and those new carry-on regulations.
If you get through without any baggage snafus, you've had a pretty good holiday.
For some, sticker shock. The average airfare, $330, up 15% over last Thanksgiving. On the nation's highways, trouble on the 405 in Los Angeles and a 20-mile backup outside of Waco, Texas. 8 out of 10 Thanksgiving travelers took advantage of the plunge at the pump, 75 cents cheaper since August. Among the 32 million people on the highways, the AAA's Mantil Williams.
It is the least expensive, and of course, it's the most convenient for most people.
But not a smooth ride everywhere.
Travel trouble along the I-95 and the I-5 in the Northwest.
That East Coast storm made for slow going in Virginia and North Carolina.
Choke points have been published as recommended until midnight Z.
And kept Forrest Terrell busy all day. Yeah, they've also been watching the West Coast very closely here, specifically San Francisco. They had a low cloud ceiling earlier today. That was delaying things a bit, but at this hour they say that's now dissipated, and it looks like it's all smooth sailing on the West Coast. Brian, back to you.
All right, Tom, get home while you can. Tom Costello in Herndon, Virginia for us tonight. Here in New York tonight, we already have the makings for what could be a big story tomorrow. The weather could be a real factor in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. That's because there are new rules that ban those big balloons if the winds exceed 23 miles an hour. Forecasters tell us it will be close. The weather calls for rain and high winds. NBC, of course, will broadcast the parade live. This Thanksgiving, the city of New Orleans is still a place of sharp contrasts, still recovering from Katrina and the aftermath, while parts of the city are thriving and parts also are dying. That assessment comes from the editor of the New Orleans Times-Picayune, the man who led that paper's heroic effort to publish during the awful aftermath of the storm. And Jim Amos has been kind enough to join us tonight from New Orleans. Jim, for those who have not been in a while, describe your city for us.
Well, I look at it as really 3 cities that it's become. One is the thriving metropolis in the old parts, the French Quarter, the parts that the tourists know, the Garden District, really the most beautiful city in America, in my opinion. And it's buzzing with life and restaurants and the kinds of things that people know and love about it. And then there's the comatose part of the city that was devastated and still is largely lifeless. And then there's sort of a middle ground city in guarded condition that has many people bringing their houses back, and neighborhoods that are partly blighted but also partly up and running again. And we New Orleanians who live here drive through all three every day. Our mood's going up and down depending on where we are.
And given the fact that some national attention is already going away, is the danger that the convention goers who visit the convention center, maybe have dinner at Brennan's restaurant or one of the other famous places, will only see that one city and forget how much is still needed?
Well, it's a difficult message to get across to the American people, that on the one hand we have a place that can be enjoyed and loved and savored, and on the other hand we are still a city that experienced the greatest civil engineering disaster in American history and are in need of aid from the government, and we need our coast to be protected from the ravages of future hurricanes.
Well, Jim, we'll be down there again before too long. Jim Amos, the editor of the Times-Picayune newspaper in New Orleans. Jim, you and yours have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much, Brian.
We have new information here tonight on an NBC News investigation that last year revealed the existence of a secret Pentagon database with details about anti-war protests and activists. Now, newly disclosed documents reveal who some of the targets were and what other U.S. government agencies may have helped to monitor American citizens. NBC News senior investigative correspondent Lisa Myers has our report.
At universities across the country, an anti-war group called Veterans for Peace has staged protests by setting up crosses for soldiers killed in Iraq. In New Mexico last year, the local paper described the event as a display of honor. But this previously secret Pentagon intelligence report labeled that same event a threat to military facilities. The report lists the group's upcoming events and warns that while it's a peaceful organization, there is potential future protest could become violent.
No, we're not a threat to military installations. We're not trying to blow anything up or anything of that nature.
The leader of Veterans for Peace is a former Army captain whose son recently returned from Iraq.
It angers me that the rights that I'm supposed to be protecting, I can't exercise without the government looking at me and calling me an enemy.
Pentagon documents obtained by the ACLU provide new details on how even Quakers and churches came to be labeled threats worthy of the attention of the military.
And what's clear is that there's a proliferation of surveillance and targeting of Americans who have done nothing wrong other than disagree with the government.
The documents also suggest for the first time that agents of the Department of Homeland Security played a role in monitoring anti-war activities. A DHS spokesman says agents merely disseminated public information about public events that could impact federal buildings. The Pentagon admits it made a mistake in collecting information on 186 anti-war protests, but claims the problem has been fixed. That isn't good enough for Senate Democrats.
I fully intend to ask what's in those data banks, because many of them go way beyond any legitimate needs for our security.
Congress wants to know not just what data was collected, but why and how it was to be used. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
We'll take a break here, and up next, as NBC Nightly News continues on this Thanksgiving Eve in our series, What Works? What happened when one American city got dead serious about a crackdown on drunk drivers? Then later, rescuing the pets of war, the injured and the homeless, and a new start.
Fill the bag and nobody gets hurt. Fill the bag, fill the bag. Feel it. More. Come on, I haven't got all day.
Because Glad Force Flex bags are designed to stretch.
Come on, lady.
They may take a while to fill. And now Force Flex comes with the 4-flap quick tie. For all your trash needs, get Glad.
My dad and I have been in the septic business for over 40 years. A septic system today can cost many, many thousands of dollars to replace.
Rid-X uses bacteria and enzymes to help prevent septic backups.
I've always recommended Rid-X, and I've never recommended anything else.
Trying to get more fiber and calcium in your diet? Well, it's so much easier with Metamucil capsules plus calcium. It's fiber for regularity and calcium for your bones. Metamucil capsules plus calcium. Stay regular, stay strong.
I've studied the human heart for a lifetime, and there's something you should know.
Inventor of the Jarvik artificial heart, Dr. Robert Jarvik.
High cholesterol can lead to heart disease. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Lipitor lowers bad cholesterol 39 to 60%. And Lipitor is clinically proven to reduce your risk of heart attack and your risk of stroke if you have several common risk factors for heart disease. The more we learn about Lipitor, the more impressed I am. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you're taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. They may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Lipitor is one of many treatment options to consider with your doctor. Could you be doing more with Lipitor? Ask your doctor.
Visit Lipitor.com for a free trial.
What works? Brought to you by Lipitor.
This week here, we began a series of reports called What Works, highlighting success stories that improve our lives in this country on occasion. Tonight, one city's crackdown on those who get behind the wheel drunk, a deadly problem that, of course, gets worse every holiday season. As NBC's Keith Morrison reports tonight, this one is tough, but working.
Good. Anything to drink tonight?
Friday night in Fresno, and the sting is blown.
I'd like to make an announcement tonight that Fresno PD are doing the checkpoint.
They've been texting, emailing all over town.
Anything to drink tonight?
They know we're coming. No DUI arrest tonight, we're guessing. But in Fresno, it won't be for lack of trying.
We're serious about impacting drunk drivers within our city.
That's putting it mildly.
We're looking for drunks that are out killing people.
Fresno hired 80 more traffic cops, pays for them mostly through vehicle impounds. In other words,
violators are paying for their own enforcement.
The war against drunk driving here has fronts all over town. In court, judges remind repeat offenders they can be searched anytime, day or night, without a warrant. And when, as amazingly they often do, freshly suspended drivers leave the courthouse behind the wheel.
You have a suspended license, it's for DUI?
They're pulled over within a block, and their cars towed away.
Hello, Fresno Police Department.
All day, all over town, cops drop in unannounced on DUI parolees.
Yes. Been drinking?
No. Drop in on their refrigerators, too, and their cupboards,
cockroaches in
and any other place they might find booze or drugs hidden away.
Keep your hands up where we can see them.
They find, quite frequently, that some DUI offenders are hiding serious criminal behaviors.
You're under arrest right now for felony probation violation, okay?
In this place, crack pipes, drugs, a loaded cocked pistol, blanks for check forging, a registered sex offender. All in a house with a baby.
We'll make sure that your daughter gets good care. Okay, tonight we have 3 operations going. We have a DUI.
The checkpoints go up as darkness falls. Fresno, with its 500,000 people, runs more sobriety checkpoints than any other city in the country, more than Chicago, L.A., New York. And late at night, outside the city's bars, they watch drunks weave to their cars. And despite all the advance warning of the sting, it was a bumper night. 96 impounds, 39 DUIs.
When you drink and drive, you become a criminal.
Does it work, this most aggressive campaign in the country? Listen to this. In the 4 months before it began, 8 drunk driving fatalities in Fresno. In the 4 months since then, 1. Keith Morrison, NBC News, Fresno.
I appreciate your cooperation.
We have more news on the way here tonight. We'll take a break, and when we continue, have you noticed anything unusual about your college student this Thanksgiving break?
Excuse me. So what exactly are you guys?
Sneakers, baby. Vintage 1985 high tops, limited edition. Old school.
Wow, you guys sound pretty cool.
You know how I roll.
So how's the postal carrier going to handle all you guys?
It's all good. The lady drives a big truck.
Wow.
With lots of room in the truck, the post office comes to you with free package pickup.
I couldn't quite believe it. One little pill a day helped my heartburn go away. The problem was it came back. It broke through, especially at night. Then I found this, Mylanta Ultimate Strength. It's something new for heartburn, even the kind that breaks through. Mylanta's really fast, and my doctor said I could take it even though I'm on a daily medicine.
When heartburn breaks through, try new Mylanta Ultimate Strength.
It's the ultimate.
Mother Nature gave some animals warm winter coats, but others depend on Burlington Coat Factory for designer coats up to 60% off department store prices. And now with our new cash back policy, there's no reason to be left out in the cold.
When you get a cold, you can't always slow down, but you can get the relief you need to keep going. With NyQuil at night and DayQuil during the day. Feel better faster.
If you've had a heart attack, the reduced how well your heart pumps, hear this. Your heart medications may not be enough protection. Coreg is FDA approved to increase your chance of survival when taken over time. Adding Coreg to your current treatment can help prevent another heart attack. Coreg reduces your heart's workload to help it pump better. That should be music to your ears.
Coreg is not for everyone, including people prone to asthma, certain heart rhythm problems, slow heart rate, or liver problems. Once you start Coreg, you should continue as directed by your doctor. Patients who abruptly stop may experience chest pain or an increased risk of heart attack. In some cases, patients may experience dizziness or faintness when starting Coreg. You should avoid driving or hazardous tasks if this occurs.
Ask your doctor if Coreg is right for you. Adding Coreg adds cardio protection.
Tomorrow on Today, start the magic, cue the bands.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody!
The parade excitement begins right here on Today, only on NBC.
Christmas in Rockefeller Center, next Wednesday on NBC.
Outside Boston today, before dawn, there was a chemical explosion powerful enough to be felt in neighboring New Hampshire. It happened at a plant that makes ink and solvents. The plant is now gone. Just under 90 surrounding homes were damaged, but miraculously fewer than a dozen people were hurt, and most of the injuries, we're told, were minor. On Wall Street here in New York today, some slight gains for the Dow, up a little more than 5 points on the day's trading. NASDAQ up just over 11. This was the last full day of trading for the week. There will be a short trading day coming up on Friday. This is the item we were talking about. This next story is for fellow parents of college students. It turns out there's a scientific reason for a dynamic you might be witnessing in your home right now as we speak. You might want to have the student who is presumably home on Thanksgiving break listen to the following. A researcher has found the average college student will gain, on average, 1.1 pounds over this Thanksgiving break. The official reason given, the same dietary temptations we all face this time of year, which can, of course, include some fantastic apple pie, coupled with a pent-up yearning for home cooking. So it turns out it's really not their fault at all. We'll take another break. We're back in a moment with the emotional story of some of the dogs of war.
The best in German engineering. A powerful motor. And a handling system for precision and control from Braun. Introducing the world's first electric shaver with the expertise of Gillette blade technology. Precisely angled edges cut hair more effectively with every stroke. For Braun's closest, most comfortable shave ever. It even cleans and renews itself. The new 360 Complete from Braun. Precision, control, perfection.
I got up this morning, my knees were bad again. No. So I took Bear, and that was that. Some people take it for their heart, but for knees alone, it gets my vote. It's beautiful.
Genuine Bear aspirin. Painkiller. Lifesaver.
I expect to keep playing.
expect wonders.
Here I come.
Want to look your best this weekend? Rent a car from Enterprise for 50% off. Friday to Monday, 50% off. Most cars, most weekends, most neighborhood locations. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Because you never seem to get stranded in safe places.
Mom, gonna be late for the game.
Black & Decker created the Simple Start. Just plug it into your car lighter and within minutes, your battery is charged. Simple Start from Black & Decker.
All of us have internal plumbing. But for some of us with frequent bladder urges, doing errands also means knowing where all the bathrooms are along the way. The worry your pipes might leak means you don't always detour from your route. But you can take another direction. Talk to your doctor about how to take care with Vesicare. Vesicare, once a day, can reduce urges and may help effectively manage bladder leakage, day and night. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, do not take Vesicare. While taking Vesicare, if you experience a serious allergic reaction, severe abdominal pain, or become constipated for 3 or more days, tell your doctor right away. Common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, blurred vision, and indigestion. A chance to follow a whim, not always your urges. It's not just a pipe dream. Ask your doctor today if Vesicare is right for you.
Tonight at 6, it's a test Metro school teachers aren't required to take. But tonight, find out why failing this exam could put your child's safety in jeopardy. Plus Bulger's big adventure, Terry's next stop, Italy. Well, sort of. The West Nashville joint you'll just amore. Tonight on Channel 4 News at 6, working for you.
Our final story tonight takes us to Utah, but it's a story that started in Lebanon. We started covering it there back in September when we chronicled the plight of some dogs that had become war casualties in the Middle East. To say they have gone on to a better life here in the U.S. would thankfully be an understatement. We get the story tonight from NBC's John Larson.
At first, the Best Friends Animal Shelter in Utah looks normal enough. Until you look closer. A few are missing legs. This one's recovering from a chest wound. The cause here? Shrapnel. When war broke out in Lebanon in July, many animals were killed, abandoned, or starving. Lebanon volunteers tried to save the ones they could. But they quickly learned that when you try to save animals caught by war, you've got a problem on your hands. Hundreds, thousands of animals in need, and the country's only animal shelter damaged by bombs. Americans responded. An emergency charter flight, 300 animal evacuees, food, water, medical attention. It was doggy first class. Critics would later say the $300,000 raised and spent to save just 300 animals should have been spent relieving human suffering.
But animal rights workers in Lebanon say, look at it this way. There are 6,000 agencies in Lebanon to deal with the suffering of human beings. For all the animals in the country, there's only one. Regardless, by the time the flight landed in Las Vegas, the refugees were celebrities. Many animals who just days before ran from humans now reached out. And this is where one war story ended and 300 love stories began. Many animals who had never had owners, never even wagged a tail, now had names. Wilma, Peanut, Maya. American families are already lining up to adopt them, scars and all. Because sometimes when the world is so sad, so confusing, you do what you can do and save what you can. John Larson, NBC News, Kanab, Utah.
There you go. That's our broadcast for this Wednesday night. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brian Williams. Please join Ann Curry here tomorrow night, and I'll see you back here on Friday evening. Good night. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Tonight, counting on the kindness of strangers.
I seen the smoke, so the best thing what I could do was just try to get the people out of the car.
A mother and 2 children have this man to thank for saving their lives. A teacher arrested for drugs raises new questions about the school system's policy. And the governor is tired of Tennesseans having to foot the bill for illegal immigrants living behind bars.
Middle Tennessee's #1 news starts now. This is Channel 4 News, working for you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome now to Channel 4 News at 6.
If you're waiting on someone to arrive for Thanksgiving, it may be a while. All the major interstates are slow going right now. The tail end of rush hour, along with some 730,000 travelers hitting the road for the holiday, makes for quite a crowd. The best advice, pack your patience, and if anything happens, hope you can depend on the kindness of strangers. A local delivery man came to the rescue of a mother and 2 children this morning after their SUV crashed into a rock wall along I-65. Channel 4's Cindy Carter is live at Vanderbilt Medical Center tonight with the story. Cindy?
Well, Demetria, the mother and her 6-year-old son involved in that accident are